How's it going, folks? We are live tonight. A special guest from another Celtic podcast, YTCSC. Brian, look at Brian. I said I thought I'd bring you on. You've been coming across the socials, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook. I said, you know what, approach you and get you on for a bit of perspective on how things are. First of all, how are you getting on? You all right?
I'm good, Keith. I'm good. So thanks for inviting me. How's yourself?
I'm good. Bit lost because there's no football on at the moment, but look, this is where most fans put their eyes on. Obviously, stories of players that were linked with, stories of players that could be going out the door, kits, teams are going to be playing in pre-season, and then we'll be looking forward to the fixtures as well on Friday. Keep forgetting that the fixtures are out on Friday, and then we'll be thinking about that playoff Champions League toy as well. So there's a lot to look forward to.
Comes up thick and fast, definitely.
It does. Definitely it does. Just a quick question. Where is the YTCSC come from?
Obviously, Celtic Supporters Club is a CSC, and myself and the other two lads in the podcast are just bouncing about names, just thinking what should we do, and I was like, why don't we do that? You know, a CSC for YouTube. You know, YouTube Celtic Supporters Club.
Good idea. Yeah, good idea.
And it stuck. So yeah, hopefully. People understand. Some people are like, well, maybe YT. We're going to say YouTube CSC, but I don't know if it would have been copyrighted or whatever. But that's where it came from.
Hopefully. I thought it was a Yeovil town CSC. I was like, what's going on here? Look, they wear green and white, so why not?
They do actually, yeah. Plymouth Argyle wear the hoops, so down that neck of the woods, they love a Celtic.
Good stuff. It's just crazy to think it's been almost a month since the Scottish Cup defeat, and
yeah,
look, you brush off the cobwebs, and that day we weren't good enough. And as a perspective, last season, what do you think about it right now, 1 to 10?
The final kind of takes a mark or two off. I would say a 7 out of 10, right? And I know that's high praise or a high bar, but you know, Brendan's came back the second time. He's got a 3-year deal and he's yet to win a treble, so he's going to go all out this year because you know he's a high level manager and he's got a big ego, etc. So I disappointing. We were head and shoulders above anybody, but I think we were up and down. I think after January, certain players, I think they had dropped a level. The man in your title, Nicholas Kuhn, I think he was. I think his effort level wasn't where it should be. But yeah, you know, it just goes to show. I'm mid-40s, man. I grew up on Tales of Lisbon and 10 men won the league and all that carry on, and then Rangers won 9 in a row. So I've had the good and the bad, but yeah, I think it was a 7 out of 10 with some great performances in Europe. I think we did really, really well in Europe, and kind of, you know, Dortmund aside, we gave a good account of ourselves. But yeah, it was just disappointing. But I watched it. Me and my boy watched it in the house. Couldn't get a ticket, but we were. I didn't think we were at it. You know, I didn't think we were at it at all. So we kind of got what we deserved.
Do you think it's a case of because we are so far ahead with a gap, or do you just think it was a case where some of these players already done this and they're used to that mentality where I will win it anyway?
I think so. There will be some, but when you look at Callum McGregor in tears at the end of it, you know what I mean? He obviously gave his all, but I think certain players hadn't reached the level that they should have done, which is disappointing, especially in a showpiece cup final to the chance to win a treble. But I think the longer the game got on, the more Aberdeen were favourites to win it. And even if you look at the penalties, Maeda's penalty, Maeda just looked as if he couldn't even be bothered. He just walked up, hit it straight away, right down the middle, it went in, whatever. So mentally, I think a few of them had been checked out, you know, because they were physically done in. But yeah, it was disappointing.
I said a couple of times on the channel over the last week or two, I feel like a parrot because I'm coming on and doing the solo all the time. I was saying to a few of the people that tune in, I think, why did Brendan Rodgers start a full team against St. Mirren the week before? Shocking decision.
Yeah, and also the substitutions in the final, like to go into a penalty shootout with Arne Engel sitting on the bench, who's been our absolute assassin from a penalty spot. So I think there is an argument on team selection, but yeah, you rest the whole squad. Get the young boy McCardle that looked really good. Get these guys in. I think that's the ideal time to blood the youngsters. You know, you've won the league, regardless if it's 17 points or you end up getting beaten, it's 14 points. You've won it. The trophy's in the bag. Focus on the final. So, yeah,
as you were saying about Callum, you say about Callum McGregor, a few tears at the end. Look, that'll give him the push and the motivation this coming season, and plus having Tierney back in the door, it gives that extra experience. I know losing Taylor is a kick in the teeth, but we're getting Tierney back in that knows the club inside out, and if he never left for Arsenal, he probably would have been the captain ahead of Callum. Some people say no, but he was getting in the right direction. But it's good to have him back in. What my question to you is, be honest right now, a lot of people still have their doubts about Tierney coming back. How many games do you think we're going to get out of him this season?
Honest answer, out of all competitions, I would probably say 35, 40 max, and that would be very ambitious. I think that's what Brendan was alluding to when he was saying, "Oh, we can work Taylor and Tierney in the same team." Because I think he knows that, you know, and it's, if you look back, and it's kind of Celtic's fault we ran the boy into the ground for 5 years, you know, but
especially his last season, when you see the interviews where he was getting injections into the legs. We're playing Hibs away at Easter Road in the quarter-final of the Cup, and he said to Len, he said, "I don't think I can play this game." And even the Aberdeen game, he said he was only about 30% for it when we sealed the league in Pittodrie when Lustig scored the opening goal. I personally think we'll probably get about 25 games out of him. This season. I think it's a gelling in process. I was only saying to one of the lads in work today that I think it will be Kilmarnock, that plastic pitch. I don't know if that's going to be lifted up in Rugby Park this season. You have Livy, you have Falkirk. That's potentially 5 away games on plastic pitches for Tierney.
Yeah, that's not sustainable. That's not sustainable at all. I don't think he'll play on the plastic at all. I don't think he'll be. And obviously in Scotland, you play each other 4 times. You know what I mean? So that's potentially 12, maybe 16 games that he's not going to get risk for. Because Brendan used to do it with Big Jozo. Remember Simonovic? Used to leave him out for the plastic games, which is disappointing. But on the Tierney point, Tierney being in the dressing room, I don't think, you know, I think he would be a person that would, you know, if you were not at the level, I think he would give it to you in the dressing room. You know, he's a young Glaswegian. You know, we say how we feel, and if we feel somebody's shirking, I think it'd be a good vice captain. Callum and Tierney, you know, as a focal point for the squad.
Going to get your opinions on Kasper Schmeichel. What do you think? 1 year left in his deal. I was delighted when he signed him last year when we were linked with him. I was delighted they came in for Joe Hart. Would you let Kasper go? Put him as a number 2 or Sinsalo as a number 1? Like what I seen of Sinsalo that 5 or 6 games, I thought he proved himself.
Yeah, me too. I was impressed with Sinsalo, and as the more games he got, his distribution looked better, and he was far more confident. Don't get me wrong, like when you look at the Bayern Munich away game, Schmeichel was unreal in that game. You know what I mean? So there's certain games where you go, regardless of the age, the guy's got it. But I think Sinsalo knows that's the natural progression. I think I saw an interview with him last season that he's got kind of 2 years under his belt, under Schmeichel, and then he'll be the kind of main man. But I think it depends on if Schmeichel, his injury, he's starting to get some niggles, you know, when he's been away with Denmark and stuff like that. But I think Sinsalo deserves more games, even not just to cover Schmeichel when he's injured.
That's it. And plus, if we're successful getting into the Champions League, there's obviously the 8 games there as well. So there has to be rotation in the squad from back to front. We'll touch on Kuhn because people in the comments are asking about Kuhn. Obviously, there's this rumour and this story going around from the Scottish Sun. You don't always believe what you read or what you see, but we will put the question out there because either way, even in January, there was talk of Kuhn, Newcastle, Brentford, and now there's a reports emerging that Bundesliga side, his former team, Red Bull Leipzig, that we played against in the league phase of the Champions League, they're reportedly looking to buy him back for 15 million quid. Simple yes or no. Do you sell him for 15 million quid, or do you hold off for another offer?
I would take the money. I would take the money and run, as one of your earlier commenters put in there, 20 million, 15, 20 million and run. And I think with all the rumours on the wingers, I think Brendan knows that he might be one that'll be looked at. And I think because he was phenomenal in the Champions League, but I think he maybe believed his own hype. He kind of dropped down a little bit. So yeah, I would take the money and run.
Same here. If we can get a 15% sell-on clause with him as well. Look, we bought him for 3 million. He's played 69 games for Celtic, 21 goals as well in there, and he's over 16 assists as well last season. So he was one of the players, the first indication of one of the players that dropped off the grid in 2025. He just seems like, oh, you know, I've enough goals now. That's me done now. That's my shift done. That's me halved.
Sorry, mate. Yeah, totally agree. And when you look at a couple of games later on in the season, Rodgers took him off at half time. You very, very rarely see that. You get the same team comes out, you get 15 minutes, you know, then 60 minutes. It's the kind of free changes. But yeah, he was the first one that was getting hooked and stuff. And I think he was as you mentioned yourself, he was the one that you identified. He's dropped off big time. So yeah, I would take the money.
I think it's a case where he scored in the Champions League against them Bundesliga teams, and I think by looking at him, he thinks he's bigger than Celtic at times. He thinks that he can take the Scottish League for granted as a stroll because he done in the first half of the season. As you said, getting hooked off at half time, you know, fair enough, he picked up a few injuries as well towards the second half of the season. Then he comes back in against Dundee, scores them goals, he starts doing all this malarkey. I'm just like, you know what? Fair enough, it's all showboat stuff, but really, really believe that we can go out in the market and, you know what, cash out in this guy and move him on. I don't hate him in any ways. I'm very grateful for what he's brought. Obviously, he's 4 honours with the club in the space of 18 months, but I think his head is turned. I think his head is turned to get a move to England or Bundesliga because the World Cup's around the corner. And if you're playing in the Bundesliga and you're scoring goals, you have a better chance. Even though he gets that chance with Celtic in the Champions League, he's not going to guarantee he's going to be getting near the player he was last season, the first half of the season.
Yeah, definitely. And obviously with the lack of effort, whatever, that you don't know what sort of issues that's causing with the squad and the you know, the kind of team ethic, etc. So we'll get the money. You know, what did we get him for? Like 3.5, 4 million, maybe?
Exactly.
It wasn't a big fee. So yeah, take the money, take the profit, and you move on.
I think Lawwell will hold off and try to get 20 million out of it. I think the board will push because he's in a long-term deal till 2029, so they will probably push to get a higher fee. And he's 25, and he's, as you said, the Champions League goals under his belt as well, so that will push the valuation up. But I'll be honest with you, we're probably going to lose one or two big hitters this summer.
I agree. I don't want to say it, but I think our Japanese phenomenon up front is getting looked at by a lot of Fenerbahce. I know they came out with the rise of the initial offer of kind of 10 million euros or whatever, but I think they'll come back. So I think it'll be a nervous entry transfer window, but hopefully we keep Maida, one of our big hitters.
I think we'll keep Maeda. Like, I know Venabache, as you said, Mourinho, and they've been monitoring him. I don't. The only way I could see Maeda leaving Celtic, it'd be one of these bizarre moves, transfer deadline day. An English club comes in, maybe offers about 15 to 20 million for him. Yeah, he's 27, but he brings a different dynamic than majority of wingers you see in day-to-day football. He does the nitty-gritty stuff. He chases back. Kuhn doesn't do that.
Mm-hmm.
Kuhn doesn't do that. This is what annoys me. Like I was saying a few times on this channel, you look at trophy day and you see the trophy being presented to these players. Kuhn lifts that trophy like he doesn't care. It's like,
Nah.
I don't know if it's just a second nature thing to him, or is it just, oh yeah, I knew we were getting this anyway.
Probably. He's and I don't know why it's a second nature thing. You know, what titles has he won? You know, but I think it'd be a case of yeah, we done it. You know, I did my part, whatever. But it didn't seem entirely committed. But just to go on your point about Maeda, like a lot of European clubs were, commenting on him. I remember when we played Bayern Munich, and they were talking about his stats and all that in the first leg. They were all looking at his stats and etc. But if you look at Matt O'Reilly, and I made a point to Mark from the channel, if you look at Matt O'Reilly, we got 29 million for Matt O'Reilly, right? Phenomenal. In England, I get the English inflation, etc. But Matt O'Reilly had 19 goals and 19 assists, 38 goal attempts. Daizen Maeda has absolutely ripped it up across Europe. Lots of clubs and lots of players, etc., looking at him going like, wow, this guy's a phenomenon. So, and I'm not a bored, happy clapper in any shape, any way or form, but they have done us all right in terms of negotiating. Look at the guys like Boss and Lawwell and all that we got rid of. We got a fee on them. The board will negotiate hard, and they don't need to sell Maeda. If nobody meets their valuation, then they don't need to go. But yeah, I hopefully he's not one, because he's phenomenal at what we do. He's imperative.
I'll tell you a story about Bosun Lahal. So he was coming through Dublin Airport last year, literally 2 days after he signed for Stoke, and obviously he was back in Dublin. And I know his brother quite well. His brother lives close to where my kids live. But I meet Bosun in the airport, and he has his Celtic bag. He had his Celtic bottoms on. He's at the signing for Stoke, and I was like, look, I wish you the very best and all that. But like, he looked like a unit in them couple of pre-seasons. I know he played centre back and defensive mid. We're lacking a defensive midfielder, and I know we've been linked with a few players. We should never got rid of Awate.
I completely agree, Keith. I completely agree. I thought he was a phenomenal player. He was always there. His ability to read the game, he was always there, and because he had such an ability to read the game, he was always in the right position. He always just made a wee pass, and a lot of people maybe just thought, he's just in a wee pass to get rid of the ball, but he was always there. And I don't know, did you see that goal he scored for Birmingham at the end of last season, the volley?
Against Newcastle.
Wow, man, what a strike that was. So yeah, I think Brendan liked him, but it was a case of, one in, one out type thing, wasn't it? You know what I mean? It was unfortunate, but we're looking at a few defensive midfielders, which is
worst comes to worst, we'll get Wanyama back for the shift.
Lenny will get him sorted.
I'm quite confused, right? I was looking up. The Gold Cup is on at the moment, right?
Mm-hmm.
The International Gold Cup, and Alistair Johnson's on his honeymoon. He's obviously getting married and stuff. Will Alistair Johnston play in that Gold Cup? I haven't checked the Canada squad. Does anyone know in the comments
if Alistair Johnston
playing in that Gold Cup?
Let's see. Is it CONCACAF, isn't it? That's their so
you don't blame him for moving on, to be honest with you, Bucky Trucker. Look, it's good to see the numbers in here tonight. Tell us where you're all tuning in from. A few from Facebook, a few from YouTube as well, folks. When we come off the podcast, click YTCSC on YouTube. Give the lads a sub. They want to get that. I seen something on your page that you're giving away the new home jersey. Whoever, once you get to 1,000 subs.
Yeah. We thought that would have been a kickstart for some people, but yeah. I think we'll still do it, or I don't know. I think actually we're going to offer a local team. But if we get up there, we're going to do some giveaways and things like that, just to kind of keep people engaged and kind of give back to the guys like yourself that have helped us out and subscribe. So yes, if you could, guys, YTCSC, help us grow, and we'll be here for you and the rest of the Celtic family. Cheers, JP.
Right, so we're going to talk about Carter Vickers now. He's another one where I think he's been solid for us the last 4 years. Yeah, fair enough. He picked up that injury 2 years ago and he got surgery. And then he missed the cup. Remember, he missed that treble cup final?
Yeah.
He was absolutely solid in the semi-final against Rangers. And then remember in the cup, the League Cup final against them. But what do you think of Carter Vickers? Be honest. What do you think what's going to happen next?
What I think of him, he's absolutely phenomenal. You can see when he's not there, we're light defensively. I know it might be just recency bias, as I say, but I liked Nawrocki. I thought he was brave and he kind of always passed through the lines. It was kind of sort of that side to side pass. But I like CCV. I think we're a worse team without him, but you know, he's English. Maybe he wants to try and, well, he's in the US national team, but they're doing a bit
he's an Essex boy.
He totally is, mate. You know what I mean?
Catholic United
down there. Exactly, Catholic United. That was his young team. He's phenomenal, but he's a great player, and there will be people, there will be teams out there looking at him. Even I saw some rumours about the newly promoted teams in England, Leeds and that, and Sunderland looking at him. So hopefully it doesn't go, but he's another asset that we've got that people are interested in.
I'm going to throw a weird club into the mix that probably will want him, and you won't hear anything yet about it. I'm going to say Everton. David Moyes would know Celtic a lot.
Yes.
I think Carter Vickers, Carter Vickers, ideal shout. But as much as you want to keep him at the club will listen to offers for players if they don't hit their criteria. As you said, back to days of Maeda, I've seen reports that Celtic won't accept anything less than 22 million from Maeda.
I think that's correct. I think we should, definitely have a valuation on your players. And Brendan said it last year. He's like, last season, sorry, you buy the player, you don't buy the league. I get that in certain circumstances, but sometimes, the Scottish League does, go against you. But yeah, I think we should hold firm and at least 20 million for Daizen Maeda, which would be a 20 times. No, but 20 times, because we'd get a million.
Yeah, we got him for about just under. So we're about 10 times we're making back on him. Bought him for I think it was like 1.9 when we took him on loan from Yokohama.
That's right.
And then signed him. But people are asking in the comments. Caden's asking how much for CCV.
Well, if you're an Everton, 20-25 million, it's English, you know what I mean? And I get the buy the player, buy the league comment, but when you see some of the players that go for the valuations in and around the English club, it's unbelievable. When you look at what CCV has done for us in finals and Champions Leagues, etc., he's never looked like out of his depth. We've played in Europe, maybe
the Bruges games. That's about it.
The OG, aye, totally, man. That was
and the Dortmund game as well. He didn't play the Dortmund game, did he?
No, I think the Dortmund game was like I remember it was me and Mark from the channel were watching it, and we were like, McGregor had so much space, and I was like, what is going on? And they just everything Dortmund touched, but I don't think he's let us down at all.
No,
especially in the Rangers games, he's always solid, which is good. So yeah, a lot of English teams will need that. And Davy Moyes, he's always had Jagielka and guys like that. He's always had a stalwart at the back for him in his team. So I think, and he was a defender himself at Celtic. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see that as a left field shout, Keith. I'll keep an eye on that.
Just as I said, it's just me making up speculation that Everton could be interested in Carter Vickers. It would be ideal, but there's no truth behind the folks. It's just me putting a suggestion out there if he was to go to any clubs. My value on Carter Vickers, if we sold him for about 15 million, we bought him for I think it was just under 8 million. altogether. So
Double your money.
I'd just under double your money. Why not? Like, he's 27. This is the first club he's settled with in the last. Like, look at the club. He went on loan 7 times since he came through that Spurs academy.
Wow, I didn't know that, but yeah, that's a factor. You know what I mean? Stability. You know, if you want to know where you're playing, you want to know if you're going to be playing. Then
he's been solid, but I just don't think he has an out-and-out partner on beside him. Like, his best partnership with Starfelt, and when Starfelt left for Celtic Vigo, yes, we brought Nawrocki in, and it hasn't worked out for Nawrocki. And there's talk of Nawrocki going back to the Polish league on loan.
Yeah.
And then, but it's just, it'd be surprising to see who they clear out. I don't know what's going to happen with Marco Tilio, if he's going to come back and Brendan's going to give him a chance, or is he just Celtics? The level's too high from
there. Actually, I saw that there on a kind of rumours page that he'll be given the opportunity to stake his claim. Rodgers will bring him back, and I think he'll give him a shout, because he's obviously came last at the start of Rodgers' first season, wasn't it? With the Mark Lowell recruitment fiasco, and he's clearly looked at it when the level's too high. You know what I mean? We all, we need to be honest about it. He's probably went, wow, because I'd heard rumours like locally that it was thrown up for the first week. He just couldn't handle the level. And
Rodgers did say that. He said Marco Tilio is like, I think Tilio have said it as well on record, where it was high tense. It took him a while to settle. I think it just took him he literally took Celtic and the intensity for granted, how quick the pace of Scottish football was, and the intensity as well. But look, Tilio, it's not the end of the world if it doesn't work out with him. I think realistically, yes, we need to get a winger. We need to get someone on that left flank. I know Maeda can play there. James can play there the odd time. Jota is going to be out until probably November. So that's a good portion of our Champions League games done and brushed. Like, missing probably probably 5 Champions League games at the time Jota gets back.
Yeah, that's a worry. I think that's why you see a lot of the rumours of the wingers here, wingers there, everywhere, which is kind of funny. Remember in Brendan Rodgers' first season, and when we got Marian Shvedder, and he's like, "I've got about 1 million wingers." Obviously that was a dig at the transfer policy at the time, but yeah, I think the wide areas is where there'll be ins and outs. But yeah, as the Bucky Trucker says, CCV is solid, but he does kind of get dominated a wee bit in the air, which is disappointing. You want a big, demanding, commanding centre half.
If you lose Carter Vickers, would you take Christopher Ora back?
I don't know, man. I've never been one of those guys that go back. I'd take Starfelt back. I'd take Carol Starfelt back 100%. If we could get him to work alongside Nawrocki. So yeah, that's a Chris Dreyer. I see that the Norwegian boss has told him to get a new club, but if he's been doing it Brentford for 4 years, with
played 25 games last season, and that was Brentford's best finish as well.
Yeah,
the best Premier League finish, and I don't know why the Norwegian manager is saying get a new club. Like, he played in the last couple of games. As far as I know, Norway actually beat Italy recently as well. That's what cost the Italian manager's job as well.
Yeah. Maybe because he's not starting. Maybe. But as I was going to say, in terms of Ayer coming back, he's been down in the Premiership with the Premiership wages. You know what I mean? It's going to be tough to kind of bring him back. But yeah, it was amazing for us. But I think that era of teams he checked out, 10
him and Christie
too far for him.
Him, Christie, and Edward checked out as soon as that season finished. Well, even Hartwich with that season, they finished. The thing about Oyer is he's different, where he can actually take the ball up and take players on. Kind of what Van Dijk done.
Yes.
But CCV doesn't have that in his locker. Yeah, fair enough. He pushes the ball up as much as he can because we have a lot of possession and we push it into the opposition's half. But I really believe we need to get 2 centre-backs anyway. I just feel like that's going to cost us this season. We need a good partnership good centre backs. I think Trusty hasn't lived up to it. Don't get me wrong, he might come in after pre-season and completely be different. Could like what Liam Scales done. Liam Scales was on the verge of leaving Celtic, and then obviously them injuries happened, and then he got a run of games and he got a new deal.
I called him Scaldini for a while. Loved him. Thought he was amazing. And then to get flung in, him and Lagerbielke at Ibrox. Remember when Kyoka scored? We were expecting to get, go away with getting beat 3-0 was a decent result, and we turned them over. Definitely we're very, very light defensively. Don't think Trusty's got it. He kind of pushes. He gets. I don't know. He seems to be a bit. He's positional. He's a bit all over the place for me.
Very fragile. Looks very fragile at times, to be honest.
And also, who else was it? Who did it like? I think it was Jeff Schlupp. Like a couple of times last season, ball was coming over and he was kind of shutting down. You're like, you're supposed to be a defender. So I think we are light. I think we are light at the back. We need two, as you mentioned, two decent, strong ball playing centre halves to help us out, try and break the line. Because I like Nawrocki, but I don't think Rodgers fancies him. I think he's made his mind up. Him and Lagerbielke.
And we'll get money back on Lagerbielke that we played Elfsborg. I think that was around 3.5. Like, he done well at 20. Played over 24 games for FC 20. Scored a few goals as well, and he played Europa League. So there is valuation there. This is the thing. The players that you think that we won't actually make money on, we do. You go back to that guy, about Kouassi. You made a few bob on him.
Bawi Kouassi. I remember him. Yeah. He was another one that looked good. Defensive midfielder, played well in a couple of games. I don't know if it's injuries or whatever, but there's been a lot of churn over the past few years with Celtic. But hopefully, this is the season when we kind of get a decent squad.
What do you think of the whole rumours of Josh Doig being linked with us? I'll be honest with you, I can't see it happening.
Nah, but you tend to find sometimes newspapers or websites they'll put these players out, just as out there. Or sometimes the players' managers might get in touch with the media and say, "Oh, he might be looking to go to Celtic." But I don't know. I can't see it. But we need cover on the left hand side. We've done a video about Greg Taylor versus KT and the kind of differences that they bring in. Greg Taylor being more of an inverted guy and Taylor being up and down. But we need cover on the left hand side. We need cover at centre half. So it's going to be a busy transfer window for us.
I know this sounds terrible, and this is a dig at Taylor, but Taylor couldn't cross a ball for his life at times.
Honestly, he looked as if he was scared to do it. But in his defence, yes, he was not that down winger ball in type situation, but a couple of times he used to chip that nice wee cross ball because McCowan benefited a couple of headers and stuff like that. But in terms of it was a nosebleed material, wasn't it? He would go up to the end of the byline and he would cut it back in, and it stopped our play, I think. But on the inverted side of things, I don't think there's anybody better than Greg Taylor to kind of play that. He helped us in the midfield side of things, and it was kind of part of what we did well in terms of that formation or how Brendan played. But yeah, his ability to get balls into the box. When you look at on the other side, AJ and Kuhn, how they play, the underlaps, overlaps, etc. Yeah, it was a bit different.
So that's Josh Doig's stats there. 31 games in Serie B last season. I thought he played in Serie A. Serie B. So unless that team were relegated the previous season, but okay, maybe there is a chance of getting them back in that case.
Yeah, totally.
Well, not getting back. Obviously, played for Hibs originally. Well, obviously, he's a Scottish international as well. Speaking of Scottish internationals, I think the ship has sailed with Lennon Miller. I don't think we're going to get Lennon Miller.
Well, it depends on Motherwell's valuation. If they come out with crazy talk, then no chance. But yeah,
they're looking for about 10 million a year from.
I always like us to have a Scottish core, etc. But if you're getting priced at the market, then it's not going to happen. And plus, who's he going to push out You know what I mean? Engels, Hatate, McGregor. Obviously, he'll get a chance to kind of grow into the team, but he's not going to be the main man at Celtic. But he's a great player. Hopefully, he gets a good move for himself and Motherwell.
Well, I think, like, either way, I think he will, regardless he leaves Motherwell this summer. If it's Celtic or he goes down south or he goes to there's clubs in this club, Strasbourg or something like that is looking at him as well.
Yeah, I've been hearing that he's. It was when I kind of phoning on Glasgow. I heard on the radio and they're saying, yeah, it's a lot of offers from overseas for Lennon Miller. So, but if you look at, you know, the Italian boy, you know, McTominay, Gilmore, etc., the Scottish players are
even Lewis Ferguson's ripping up. He won the Coppa Italia.
Totally, man. He was a captain.
Yeah, Bologna.
Was it Bologna? Which is brilliant. Good to for the country. 100%. It's good to see the boys going over there, different language, etc., different kind of outlook on things.
Yeah. With Benjamin Nygren, he looks like an absolute baller to replace Kuhn.
Yes,
£2 million. What a steal!
Totally, man. And Swedish, you know what I mean? All the stories of the Swedes that have played for us and how well they've done and how well we've taken to them. But I was interested to see, you know, Isak from Newcastle's comments, who's the main striker for Sweden. He was like, it was brilliant to play with Benjamin. You could tell he's no fear. He was ball down, crossing in. So if he's, you know, giving you high praise and he's a top striker, if he's likes the look of him, then I think we'll be lucky to get him, or we'll be lucky to have him in terms of bringing him in, which is great because I think he's that age, 24, 25, couple of years with Celtic, 2-3 years, and you sell him on, you start that process again. That's our business model, isn't it?
I think he's 23, 24 next month. I'm gonna put it on the screen so the folks can see it. I know you're off now in 10 minutes. I'll just get this topic done before you head off.
Yeah, not at all, mate. That's great.
Let me see. Just share this here. Tech savvy. I wish it was tech savvy. Right. So here we are. 23. So his market value is 6 million. The reason why we're getting him for 2 million is because he has 6 months left in his contract, as you see there. Left footer, but plays on the right and likes to play as a number 10 as well. Three caps for Sweden, so 4 caps for Sweden, 2 goals so far. So I think we're doing well. We fall off the likes of Anderlecht and Copenhagen for him as well.
That's right. Yeah,
talks of Lille wanted them as well. So they go ahead.
They're good. They're good clubs. You know what I mean. In the Belgian league, might not be the strongest league, but the Belgian players all over Europe. You know what I mean. It's a stepping stone. But it's good to get them in. It's good to get them ahead of these clubs because you know.
Yeah.
We're on the same. And on the same budget in it in terms of Anderlecht and Copenhagen. Obviously, historically, I would say we're far bigger clubs and all that. But in terms of economy and budget and kind of size of league, etc., you've got to be real and kind of know where you are. But it looks good. Obviously, YouTube was highlights, but it looked good. It looked fearless. That's what I liked about him.
Some left ping on him, and that's if this is the replacement for Kuhn, take the two. Realistically, we're going to be up 13 million if Kuhn was to be sold, and we bring this guy Benjamin Nygren in. Anyway, we have 80 million in the bank, Brian. Like, there's no excuse for the club to go out and spend 25 to 30 million in this window. And they have in the past. They spent 9 million on Ida. They spent 12 on Ingles. Yeah, it was 12.
You do.
I think.
Sorry,
it was like
Keith.
Go ahead. Sorry.
No, it's cool. Just you spend the money and you get the results. You know what I mean? If you spend 11 million on Engels and Ida, that's the level you're at now. You've moved up, and I've spoken about it before. Benfica are like the masters of it. They've made hundreds and hundreds of millions of euros by cheap sell on high. That's the business model, and I think we should be selling that. Look at Van Dijk. Look at all these players that have kind of played for Celtic and moved on and done well, and that's
Frimpong now.
Brilliant. He was phenomenal. So what was that next? A wee 5 million we got for that, just for the sake of him moving. So,
and O'Reilly could be gone. O'Reilly could be going to Everton as well. Speaking of Everton,
it's mad, isn't it?
Yeah, and we'd get another few more bob for him moving as well. It just didn't work out for him at Brighton. Obviously, he got that injury in his first game in the first 10 minutes, and then his Premier League debut, he scored against Man City, the winner against City. Just like, I don't know. I just wish Matt the best. I don't think he'll ever come back to Celtic. I don't think Matt O'Reilly and Celtic, I don't think that'll ever happen again.
No, not at all. But he got it. He was a phenomenal player, and he was a phenomenal teammate. I think everybody loved him. But Van Dijk, Frimpong, there's probably on two hands the amount of players you could say have left Celtic to kind of went better on their career. There's hundreds of players that have left Celtic to go on a better move, and they've never reached the heights that they had with Celtic. So there's that as well. And he'll probably kicking himself, but we got the money for it, and we wish him all the best.
Exactly. I don't know if Brenda will play Maeda more central now this season, as Maeda plays there for Japan. He has been he played there a couple of times for Celtic as well in the previous pre-season.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I'm on the fence with Ida. I'm just on the fence with it. I think he's more of a super sub.
Yeah, I think you're not alone, mate. There's been general discussions about Ida not being at the level yet. You know what I mean? When his first season, it was great, and he has a good amount of goals. I think last season was about 20. But yeah, there's something not there.
Does it feel like he scored 20? Be honest with
No.
you. Be honest. It doesn't. It only feels like he scored 10 because he went on that drought.
Yeah, totally. And when you think about the numbers, you go, what? He's actually scored 20? You go, like, when? And then you go back and there's a wee one here, two there. But yeah, it doesn't feel like a 20 goal season. So yeah, I think he'll need to up his game if there's players coming in, players coming out. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think the whole Krivista Garden is sailed. Look, we've been looking at Krivista Garden for what, 5 windows now, and there's Frankfurt's interested, West Ham are interested. I just like Celtic could have had him for 7 million, and there's talks now. Bromby 112.
Yeah, that's it. You missed the window, you missed the sweet spot, and then I saw an article. I think it was that we've decided to, he's not on our wish list anymore, or it's one of those ones we just gave up on him. But
boy, because he's at the scoring 23 goals.
I don't know. Is it? Have they been told just don't bother? He doesn't want to go to Celtic, because that's like every year, every season, every January, every summer it comes up. Oh, this is the reason we're getting him. Oh, it looks amazing. It looks even better now, and he's phenomenal young player, and I think he would rip it up for Celtic. But it's the agent's not in, everybody in your ear, and you should do this. Don't go there.
That's what I think. I think Kuhn's agent's probably in his ear saying, Bundesliga interest as well. We don't believe it until we actually see a proper approach coming in. And we have that keeper, obviously, Ross Doohan, coming back in from Aberdeen as well. He's obviously came through the youth academy. He's just a like for Bain, for obviously the Scottish rota for the Champions League.
Exactly. Ticks a box for the Scottish quota, homegrown. And obviously, because he came through the Celtic Academy, I think that's another one. It's like kind of home trained or homegrown as well. That ticks a box for the kind of criteria for the Champions League. But yeah, I've not seen anybody like being announced. The young boy Osman for Fulham, it's supposed to be past the medical and all that. I don't know if they're waiting to. I don't know when they're waiting. He was
in Greece. He was looking at. I had a look at his Instagram earlier on. He was in Greece. He was, and I had
holiday.
Recharged. His caption was so. I have a good friend of mine. He is a Celtic fan as well, and he's a Fulham season ticket holder. And he's like, Keith, he reminds me of Kyogo a bit. He's sharp. He's 19. He has that. He can play on both wings. He can play in that centre pocket. So hopefully we can have him as soon as possible. It just opens the door for Johnny Kenny to go on loan.
That's the thing. I like Johnny Kenny. I thought he was. I liked his movement. And when the ball came across midfield, he was right on it straight away. I remember Gary Hooper when he was with Celtic. But yeah, I like Johnny Kenny, and I thought that because after Rocco Vata left, Rodgers was saying about, we wanted 3 strikers, Kyogo, Ida, and a young Scottish or a young striker to kind of learn. And I thought Johnny Kenny was going to be that guy. And also, it kind of begs the question, why do we have to look at Fulham's youngsters? We should have our own. You know what I mean? We're not bringing through any youth at all. But yeah, it'd be good to see.
The problem is with the youth players that we have, a lot of them get that taste around the first team, and it gets to their heads, and they want to be a part of it, and it's either they can't deal with the intensity and the pressure when they're in that mix, and the patience. And as you said, you touched on McArdle. McArdle looks like a little baller, but will we see McArdle? Hopefully we see a bit of him in pre-season. Like, look at what's his name, Cummins. Daniel Cummins, 30 goals last season in all competitions, and he's going off to West Ham.
Yeah, for what compensation, 300 grand, just like we got for what we got from Fulham. But yeah, I read a thing. Like this Celtic B team, the old reserves, the old kind of youth team, they play in the Lowland League. So you're against Albion Rovers and teams like that. But Celtic B finished in like 6th or 7th. They were, they were nowhere near it. And they were saying, I think it was on the Celtic Star. It was one of the Celtic websites, and they were basically saying, since we've not had anybody come through, like, in the kind of for year 2000 onwards, you know what I mean, in terms of that was born in that year. You had James Forrest, Kieran Tierney, Callum McGregor, Ralston, Tony Ralston, that's it.
Welch.
And then you've got Stephen Welsh, who was there as well, maybe as a quota box ticker. But I liked Stephen Welsh. But I think, reading from comments from him, Meckelin wanted to take him on. He says it's the best 6 months that he's done. He's actually got game time, and he's not felt, pressure on himself because he's a Celtic player and he's a young Scot that he's got to do well at Celtic. But yeah, something has to happen with the youth. I can look out my window and I can see Celtic Park, but I can also see the new Barrafield. That's 20 million investment for the B team, for the women's team. It's still yet to open, but it's completely. And we brought the guy Tisdale in to for football operations. So something has to happen. You can't not develop your own talent.
And the pitch is being laid down as well, and the dugouts are being done up as well. But the dugouts haven't been put in yet. But talks of a new dugout as well.
I don't know if you ever seen the guy's videos. It's called Drone Audit Scotland.
I watched on Friday. On Friday night.
Did you see him?
I was quite disappointed in the security guard, to be honest, the way that he dealt with it.
He's like, we'll phone the police. He's like, what are you talking about? I'm just publicly. He's a cracking wee guy. I seen one where they did the update Barrafield, and it showed you everything, how it was looking. But it was good to see. But I think we need to do more with the stadium. We spoke about it before on the channel in terms of filling that main stand bit. And if there's 18,000 in the waiting list, and you could easily upgrade your stadium to an extra 15,000 seats.
They were saying 7, the most to be able to get into it would be 72,000. Like, come on,
take it. Because obviously there'll be a lot more commercial hospitality kind of.
I'd like to see Celtic put a roof on the stadium if they were to build it up. Imagine the disco lights.
Imagine the noise. Imagine the noise and the disco lights, mate, indoors. That'd be phenomenal, man. That would be unbelievable. Like a basketball game, you know what I mean? A kind of basketball arena type thing.
Before I let you go, we've been linked with a Japanese centre back. He doesn't look the main West, to be honest.
Nah. I don't know if that's lazy journalism, you know what I mean? Japanese.
No, Steve McGowan's a good source.
He is, mate. He's close to Peter Lobel. He gets sort of, if he comes out with it, then I think there's legs on it. I've only seen a wee 2-minute YouTube, and it's obviously
22 games, 23 years of age. He's playing for a team that's third last in the J League. He hasn't even been capped for Japan. For me, I think it's a Kawabashi 2.0.
Mark 2. Aye, totally. Yeah, I don't know if that would be a good option to bring in. We need somebody solid. We need somebody that's going to, because that's what I think. Adeguchi and Kobayashi as well. They looked a bit. Whoa, what's going on here?
Yeah, I think the only reason we signed Adeguchi because Ange knew him from scoring against Ange in the qualifiers for the World Cup or the Asia Cup or something like that.
Yeah, that was it.
But no, that's really it, Brian. I really appreciate you popping on. I hope we get you on the near future with you and the lads.
Aye, totally, man. That'd be brilliant, Keith. So no, really nice to spend some time with you, mate. Good subjects, and thank you so much for having us on. And once again, guys, if you could jump onto YTCSC, give us a little subscribe and comment on our videos when we get on there, and we'll see you on the next one.
Do you do live ones or is it just pre-recorded or what?
No, well, myself, Mark and Robert did a live on Friday. So yeah, we're just very new. We've been on 2 months or something like that, so we're still trying to get to grips with software and stuff like that. But Mark and Robert did a live, and I think we're going to do that because the three of us together, we have a good banter, and that's what we want to kind of put across our own personality.
Hands on a Friday night on YouTube talking Celtic.
Yeah, exactly, man.
Bringing up the NTL days, bringing up the Bumblebee days.
Love it, man. Satanta Sports, love it. Takes me back.
Satanta Sports.
Anyway, Keith, I'm going to shoot, but thank you so much for inviting us on, and we'd like to get you onto our channel once as well.
Anytime.
We'll do a wee thank you and a wee visit. But all the best, mate. Hail, and I'll see you next time.
See you soon. Cheers. Thanks very much, Brian.
Cheers.
What a man. What an man. What a gentleman. I just said I'd bring on someone different tonight to have a chat with you. Folks, I know I look like I'm looking at the screen just the way the tripod is, the laptop's down there. So it does look like I'm come across as I don't seem fussed. I do care. I do absolutely care. So I said I'll pop on for another 10 minutes and chat, which is about this. So get the comments in. Good to see the numbers tonight. Thanks very much. The Bookie Trucker, RB, John Paul Glasgow. As I said, at the end of this, if you can tune in to YTCSC, they're a new channel. Give them a sub. I know there's loads of Celtic podcasts out there. Gives you a variety. You get different opinions from everywhere. Everyone's different what we talk about. I just hope there's some truth behind the Kuhn rumours. I know that sounds horrible, but I'd rather have a winger in that's going to come in, freshen up. Yeah, it's good for a bit of competition, but take the money. Just take the money and we'll put it in. We'll get a player and develop a player. This is what the ethos for Celtic is. We buy cheap, and then if they do an impact, we'll sell them for 3 or 4 times the price that we bought them for. So I sub to all things that are Celtic. Good. I was watching Baz this morning having his sandwich in a cafe. I was in work and I tuned into Celtic Fans View. What a guy. Baz is unbelievable what he does. And you know what I like about Baz? He's very me and Baz were meant to do a live before. I'll try get him on the next couple of weeks. He's very good with his subscribers. He has a rapport with his subscribers, and not a lot of podcasts do that. Some people just click it and that's it. You're just a name to some people. But Baz is outstanding, and 22,000 subs, well deserves it. And that's not me licking up to him in any way or fashion. I'm just being honest. Like, I'm not here to name or shame podcast. They all do a good job. For someone to put themselves on the camera and chat about Celtic for a half an hour or an hour, it just shows, do you want to get that point across? And it's not easy, folks. It's not easy, but the whole Carter Vickers talk, I don't think he'll go in the next couple of weeks. I just think when you get these teams back in pre-season, the managers will identify who they want. Do you want to trim the squad? Who do you want to bring in? It's all early talk. There was a small transfer window from the 1st of June to the 10th to close, and it's back open again. To be honest, I was I was thinking, oh, we're going to announce something today. It wasn't meant to be. And look at the transfer window does not close until the 1st of September. So there's plenty of time. But I would like to see us obviously strengthen for the Champions League qualifier and stuff like that. But like every fan would. And look, we have a lot to look forward to. We have our pre-season games where we will be playing. Just want to share the screen here. Share the screen. Tell us where you're tuning in from as well, folks. And please tell your pals about my channel if you can. I am selling Command the Hoop stickers. I'll put them on the post for you. Selling them for cancer awareness as well. Queen's Park obviously forced on the 4th of July. Then we're away to Cork, the Rebel County, which I'm not going to because it's miles away. It's too much money. And then we have Sporting Lisbon in the Algarve. Then we're home to Newcastle. I want to talk about this fixture. I think it's an absolute disgrace from the club that the club are charging season ticket holders for this fixture. Whereas the days where they used to give you, the Champions League qualifier and then the friendlies, whatever they had in there. To be honest, football's becoming a numbers game. As much as you love this club, as much as you love buying the merchandise, as much as you pump hundreds, even $2 or $3 grand in a year to see Celtic, you're just an effing number. You're just a number. Because, you could be replaced for someone else in the waiting list. And then we're away to Ajax as well. It just annoys me that we're going down that route of, I think we're pushing towards the way the English Premier League teams are, with marketing, with pricing. I know Celtic are a massive marketing tool, but like, start giving something back to the fans. I know people say, oh, well, they do these dinners where, near Christmas, and if someone is struggling for a hot meal and they're at the poverty line and stuff like that, that is a nice gesture. But like, for the day-to-day fans, they should be giving something back. As I said, every fan, once you buy some merchandise, let's say, for example, I've said this hundreds of times and I repeat this. So if I go into the Celtic shop, right, and I buy the new home jersey, which I haven't already, but if I buy the new home jersey and it's £70 and I get the print, I get the Champions League, the whole works on it, right? £100. If you spend over £50 in the Celtic store, you should get a £5 coupon back. A £5 coupon back. And then it just means that you're going to keep buying and you're going to use it and you're going to get a buzz. It may be only a £5, but a £5 is a lot of people. We're in the cost of living. And the prices of match day tickets at £35. It's a lot. It's not just, we need to put the money into keep the club on top. Yeah, of course we do need to put, but the club should be giving something back as well. That's the whole ethos of the club. The club is set up to help people. And it's a business. Give it back. If it's, as I said, if you're paying 50, you're paying a £5, you get a £5. You get a loyalty card, get a £5 back. Or if you have a season ticket, scan that season ticket and say, look, there's points on it. And it's a point system. So when it comes to Christmas, you've accumulated by buying tracksuits, by polo tops. Even when you go up to that food stall at half time and you get a pie, should be a point system there. And as you said, you're getting money to the club, you should be getting something back in return. The more you spend, the better you get rewarded. It's not just about football results, it's business as well, folks. It's a business. Hell, Natalie, hope you're well. Ajax, my birthday, 24th of July, the Como tournament. There's just some good fixtures in there for the pre-season. They'll be a couple of weeks' time where the boys will be training as well. But yeah, I enjoyed the podcast now. Something different. It's good to not just hearing my voice. It's good to hear other people's voices. And a big shout out to Brian coming on tonight. That's the first time I've actually spoke to Brian. We made a communication over the last 24 hours. He's meant to come on last night, but I'll be honest with you, it was Father's Day yesterday, and my kids are in the Netherlands on holidays, and felt a bit down in the dumps, so I didn't really want to be coming on and talking about Celtic, even though it's a great escape. So I just wasn't arsed last night. Simple as, Paul. I'm happy. I was buzzing to come on today and chat to you. Looking at this Japanese centre back, as I said, Irakura. I think it's a no for me. It's a no for me. And if he was winning J Leagues and he was playing for the top 3 teams in Japan, perhaps there'd be a different opinion about it. But he's playing for the team that's third last in the J League. It's a no for me. I watched these videos today. Doesn't suit our style. I know, like, we've been linked with, man. I know scouts do their operationals and they'll feed it back to the club, and then obviously Stephen McGowan got this story and stuff like that. It's a no for me. It's a no for me. I'm not a scout in any shape or form, but I just get that vibe by looking at his YouTube videos, and some YouTube videos you look like, oh Jesus, what a player. No, it's a no for me. I'm all in for the Swedish winger. All in on him. 16 goals. Why not? Some left ping on him. Good free kick taker as well. Not a lot of people have touched on. So hopefully we get this guy over the line in the next couple of days. We've already approached them. There's been personal terms agreed over the weekend. All we're waiting for is probably international clearance, medical to be booked, salary to be agreed, that kind of stuff. You know that way? That kind of stuff. Yeah, that's it. J League, look at Kawabashi. Look, we can't always shoot down the J League. Like, we got obviously Rio from the J League, Dazen from the J League, Koyogo from the J League. Itaguchi didn't work out. Iwata from the J League. So Kawabashi was just an absolute dud, to be honest. He does look quality. He looks like he's a bit of a biter, man. To be honest with you, he looks faster than Nicholas Kuhn. He looks more physical as well, a bit more physique to him as well than Kuhn. I know Kuhn's been working in the gym and all, but all means if we don't sell Kuhn this window and he comes back and he's stronger and he's banging goals in, like we could have done these first 6 months where he couldn't get used to the game, looked a bit frail as well. And then he came in and after pre-season and he scored and then pre-season games as well in America. And then he done well in the Champions League and stuff like that. But I don't know. I just feel like Kuhn, as I said this earlier on, I'll say again, I just feel like Kuhn thinks he's bigger than Celtic. I don't know if he's get the same vibe. I just think I'm probably talking a lot of pony. Let me know. But I'm going to give it one more minute. I'm going to jump off. The next time I'll be back, if something develops tomorrow, if we get someone in tomorrow, I'll be back on tomorrow night. If not, I'll be probably back on Wednesday. I'll be doing a couple of videos throughout the week anyway, just chatting away. But do you think we should sell Kuhn to Red Bull? Yeah, 15 million, I would sell him, yeah. We'd be bought him for 3. We've got... He helped us win a league. He helped us win a double. You know? Well, 2 doubles. So, the money's... If the fee is right, we'll sell him for 15. Let him go back to the Bundesliga. You know, I don't think he's ever played senior level Bundesliga. It's all been Bayern Munich B and Red Bull Youth and then Ajax in there as well. He's the Eredivisie stuff like, but we'll see what happens with regards to Nicholas Kuhn. As I said, if this is your first time coming across the channel, click the like and subscribe button below. See this picture in the background? I honestly can't wait to go to Santa Ponza. That's not Santa Ponza in any shape or form. So I booked to go to Santa Ponza the first week of September. I haven't been there since Henrik Larsson scored that chip in the Champions League qualifiers when we wore the Black Magic. That was the last time I was in Santa Ponza. So I'm really looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to seeing Jinky's Bar, the Southwell, the Dubliner, all these Celtic pubs, bringing back me down memory road. You know, I was a young teenager last time I was in Santa Ponza. So look at me now, grey hair, talking shy, beer belly, drinking tea, living the dream. I definitely sell him for 25. Look at John Paul. We'll take the 25. 100%. Good numbers tonight on Facebook as well. Really appreciate a few people tuning in on Facebook. The Facebook folks, when you finish, please go off to YouTube and press the subscribe button, free of charge. I want to get this channel to 19,000. It's around the corner. We have like 10 to go. Let's get to 19,000, and then we can push for that 20k. It's my own fault. It's been busy the last few months, but it's good to be back on chatting baloney. So yeah, folks, anything develops over the next couple of days, I'll be back on. If it's a story that breaks during the day, I won't be able to do it during the day because I'm working. Gotta pay the bills. Some of us don't have that, that full-time YouTube job just yet. So I gotta pay the bills and work a 9-to-5 job like most people. So I can see you on YouTube. It's the same name. Come on, the Hoop Celtic, Kenny. I don't think it should. You should be able to subscribe to me there, but exact same name. Don't have you blocked. Don't think I've ever seen you commenting on me channel or you've said anything wrong, Kenny. So no hard beef there, but I'm gonna leave it there, folks. Thank you very much for tuning in. A massive thank you to Brian from YTCSC, and give them a sub, and I'll speak to you all soon. Good night. God bless. Hail.